right, pretty quick one for you here. This one's all about the idea of disfluencies. A lot of times when you hear somebody speak, you'll hear ums, ahs, likes. You'll hear a lot of these disfluencies, and it makes you wonder what's at the root of them. And we all have them to a degree, so no need to feel self-conscious. But quick primer on this. So one, it's important to understand the two distinctions of these kinds of things. There's a filled pause. That's where somebody says or And if you say these things a lot, much of the time it'll start to come across like you're not prepared or you don't know what you're talking about or you're nervous. On the other hand, there are discourse markers. This is where somebody says sort of or like. Hey, I was wondering if you knew like where that was. You know, people fill these things in. Now there's a reason. A lot of times it's because people are either uncertain or they're trying to fit too much in to one thing that they're trying to say. And a lot of that has to do with pressure as well. So if you feel like that you're under pressure and you're trying to get an idea across quickly and that idea has a ton of information to it, you are more likely to have these discourse markers or these filled pauses. You'll also be likely to have a tendency to stammer a bit. And it can be very common for you to stammer while also using discourse markers and filled pauses. And you start to see how these things start to stack up on each other one after one after one. So what can you do? Well, aside from being prepared, the key here is to really focus on concision. What is the concise message you're trying to get across? Think of it like a story, or think of it like a headline or a billboard. If you go into an interaction or a speech of some sort or anything where you're trying to convey a message, think about what's the main headline and start with that. This can absolutely be helpful during team meetings, especially if you're going remotely or anything of a sort. So you may say, hey, team, the key part of what we want to get across today is figuring out our next virtual event. Or, hey, Ron, the main thing I want to talk to you about is the conflict we had during our last discussion. This is how I felt, and this is why I felt this way. This is what I think could be done about it. If you just keep it simple, you know, for my strength coaches out there, it's very similar to the idea of programming, the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Well, in this one, it's keep it simple and short. You can elaborate later on, but get your key message across first. Make sure that you're prepared, you've ran through it. You don't need to rehearse a bunch. That can actually be harmful. And most importantly, when you're under pressure, the way you get better at that, maybe you're negotiating or there's a debate, is you have to continually put yourself in that situation. Specific adaptation to impose demands. This is a big reason we do a lot of improv and role-playing type stuff at our apprenticeship workshops. And there's a surprise coming there later. So make sure that you guys are on our newsletter. I'll talk to you about what we're doing with them in light of coronavirus or what have you. But when I talk about improv, we're talking about serious play. The same thing that the medical profession does, lawyers do when they do mock trials and juries. So we're not talking about whose line is it anyway, get here and goof off. But that's really the way you get more comfortable speaking under pressure. Not just life experience, not just work experience, but dense and diverse experience in other situations so that you can rehearse and refine for some of life's biggest moments. So be mindful of pressure, be mindful of the conciseness of your message, be prepared, and don't try to get so much across in one fell swoop, and you'll have a great head start at ridding yourself of common disfluencies.